General Hospital tightens the noose around Ava's neck. Is she about to go down for Connie's murder? Maybe you've noticed, the new regime at General Hospital is taking big swings these days. They are not afraid of setting in motion seismic shifts. In turn, this has left us very, very scared for Ava Jerome, the slickest femme fatale this side of a film noir. We question the logic of having Sonny kick out Avery's mom for having Alexis disbarred without ever playing the jackpot that Maurice Bennard and Maura West as an on-screen couple would be. So much set up with no sexy payoff. Starmer, people need to be convinced that change is possible. But furthermore, we're concerned about the underlying antagonism that has been ratcheted up by Ava's change of address. Sonny didn't just toss some barware as he showed his roommate the door. Come to think of it, no barware was harmed. He lashed out with some cold, hard facts as she tried to defend her actions against Alexis. "Who are you to judge?" he asked. "You killed Connie. Maybe I should sign an affidavit against you." Obviously, that's hilarious, coming from a career criminal like Sonny who has more blood on his hands than he does skin. But for an Ava fan, it's downright chilling. She did murder Sonny's old flame. It wasn't self-defense. It wasn't an accident. There were no extenuating circumstances. The erstwhile Kate Howard had simply discovered Ava's connection to Derek Wells' brother Julian, and, to keep the secret, Ava sent Olivia's cousin to the grave with it. Sonny further served up a reminder that Ava and her family were responsible for the death of his son, Morgan, the soon-to-return Brian Craig. Finally, the anti-heroine called the mobster on his hypercritical BS. "Take some responsibility, Sonny," she hissed at the smooth operator who shot son Dante, stole Adge Quartermain's son, turned Karen Wexler into a drug-addicted stripper, and hung Dex from a meat hook. As far as Sonny's million offspring are concerned, there's only one thing that all their troubles have in common, she continued. "You." As comebacks go, it was a good one. But with Sonny set to sue for custody of Avery, we're still shaking like a picture of Martinez. After all these years, would General Hospital really send Ava to prison for Connie's murder? It couldn't, right? Not if it intended to let Sonny keep strutting around Port Charles like he was a mild-mannered purveyor of high-end Sanka. Not if it planned to keep longtime hitman Jason in the spotlight as the patron saint of black t-shirts and stoicism. Not if it intended to allow Carly to keep running around like she was an innocent victim of being busted for RICO violations. In the hushed corridors of General Hospital, whispers echoed like phantom winds through the sterile air. The name on everyone's lips was Ava Jerome, a woman whose presence could freeze time itself, or so the rumor mill claimed. Tall tales spun around her like silk threads, weaving a tapestry of intrigue and danger. But today, those whispers carried a weight heavier than gossip. They bore the ominous scent of impending doom. Ava Jerome had always been a woman of contradictions. With hair like midnight and eyes that shimmered like the sea at dawn, she commanded attention effortlessly. Yet, beneath her glamorous facade lurked shadows of a darker past, a past stained with secrets and whispers of misdeeds that danced on the edges of legality. It was Connie Falconeri's murder that thrust Ava into the spotlight of suspicion once again. Connie, a journalist known for her relentless pursuit of truth, had crossed paths with many in her quest for the next big story. But it was her final story, the one that promised to unearth truths long buried, that sealed her fate. A fate sealed by a single bullet in a darkened alley, where whispers turned to screams that night. The investigation had been relentless, each thread of evidence pulling tighter around Ava's carefully constructed life. Detective Nathan West, with his steely gaze and unwavering determination, led the charge. His pursuit of justice was fueled not only by duty but by a personal vendetta that burned like embers beneath his calm exterior. He knew Ava Jerome's type, elusive, cunning, and always one step ahead. In the interrogation room, Ava sat with an air of defiance that masked the tremors beneath her skin. Her lawyer, a slick-haired man named Bennett Thompson, whispered assurances of innocence like a mantra. But even his polished veneer couldn't hide the tension in the room, where every word spoken could tip the scales of fate. Detective West paced the room like a caged lion, his eyes never leaving Ava's face. You were seen arguing with Connie Falconeri hours before she was killed, he stated, his voice a low growl that echoed off the stark white walls. Ava's lips curled into a disdainful smile, a mask of composure slipping for a fraction of a second. Detective, I argue with many people. It's my prerogative as a woman of influence. But not everyone ends up dead in an alley after arguing with you, West shot back, his words like arrows aimed at her heart. Ava's facade cracked then, just a fraction. I didn't kill her, she insisted, her voice betraying the hint of desperation that lurked beneath her cool exterior. Outside the interrogation room, the hospital bustled with life as usual. Doctors rushed to save lives, nurses hurried to soothe pain, and patients clung to hope like lifelines. But beneath the veneer of normalcy, tension thrummed like an electric current. Everyone had an opinion on Iva Jerome's guilt or innocence, their words exchanged in hushed tones over cafeteria lunches and beside the sterile scent of antiseptic. Dr. Silas Clay, a man with haunted eyes and a past he couldn't outrun, watched from the sidelines. As a trusted physician at General Hospital, he had seen the best and worst of humanity etched in the lines of patients' faces. But Ava Jerome intrigued him in ways he dared not admit. Her presence was a whirlwind of chaos, stirring something dormant within him, a curiosity that danced dangerously close to fascination. He found himself drawn to her room one evening, the soft click of his shoes against linoleum echoing like a heartbeat in the empty hallway. Ava lay propped up against crisp white pillows, a vision in black silk that contrasted sharply with the sterile hospital sheets. Dr. Clay, she greeted him with a languid smile, her voice a velvet whisper that sent shivers down his spine. He approached cautiously, as if wary of stepping into the gravitational pull of her world. "How are you feeling, Ms. Jerome?" he asked, his professional demeanor a shield against the magnetic pull of her presence. Ava's smile widened, a dangerous glint in her eyes that hinted at depths he couldn't fathom. "Alive," she replied cryptically, her gaze holding his captive like a moth to flame. Silas swallowed hard, his fingers tightening around the clipboard he clutched like a lifeline. "There are rumors," he began cautiously, choosing his words like stepping stones across a treacherous river. "Rumors that you're in deeper than anyone realizes."